to share with you today a model we've titled the Productivity Zone. It's a model that we've developed for supervisors, managers, and leaders to help us understand our employees, and it gives us 3 different areas to look at. One of the uses of this model is to help us kind of assess and evaluate how effective and potentially successful our employees will be. I think that'll make sense as I go through this. So let me just share with you. Basically, if you consider 3 circles that are overlapping, so all 3 of them meet in the center, and then 2 of them each overlap on the sides. We'll try to put a graphic up on the screen to show that to you. The productivity zone has 3 concentric circles. One is competency, the other is commitment, and the third is character. And let me start with that. We look at those 3 areas of employees to kind of get a sense of how effective, how prepared are they to be successful. So competency is pretty straightforward. It's one that we're pretty comfortable with. It's what we deal with knowledge and skills. What do they know? What can they do? What are their abilities? What do they understand, right? And that's something that over the years we've gotten relatively good at doing. For example, when we hire, we develop job descriptions that lay out all of the things we want them to know and be able to do. Well, when we hire, we look at resumes and applications that share that. The second area is commitment. This is the level of engagement, ownership, buy-in that employees have. How committed are they to the organization? How much do they buy in and have a desire to really drive the organization and buy into the goals and the vision and the direction? This is an area that we see most commonly, actually, where people are struggling. You may have employees that are really skilled and knowledgeable, but they're just not very committed. For whatever reason, they're disengaged and lack that level of dedication and ownership that we're looking for. And the third area is character. And character is a tougher one, and it's one we've added because we think it's essential to the success of employees. But we also think this is one that we are most challenged with because we don't necessarily know how to deal with it. Character deals with an individual's sense of morals and values, who they are, what they see as right and wrong, their level of willingness when you look at how do they see work or work ethic, honesty, integrity, respect, things like that. When you look at the graphic, you'll see that how these overlap with each other. And some people are strong in 1 or 2 or all 3 and struggle in some of the other ones. So for example, if you've got an employee who has really good competency, they're highly skilled, they're very knowledgeable, and they're very committed, but they kind of struggle in character. They may not have the best work ethic. They may not have the best honesty or integrity. We call that a person a qualified or inconsistent person. All right, so they're qualified in the sense they have the knowledge and skills. They want to be there, but there's some value issues that maybe aren't matching with the organization. Or maybe you've got an employee who's committed and has really good character. They're engaged, they have buy-in, they're a good person, but they struggle in the knowledge and skills. They can't do the things we need them to do or know the things we need them to know. We would call that person well-intended or ineffective or ultimately incompetent, right? And then the third one, maybe they've got really good character and good competency, knowledge and skills, but lack commitment. We call that person a high potential disengaged person. In other words, this is the person that it's a right kind of person and they know the things and can do the things we need them to do, but for some reason they're just not engaged and connected with us in the organization to really be fully committed. I wanted to share that with you today to have you begin to look at, can you evaluate your employees in each one of them? Maybe on a scale of a 0 to 5, 0 being they're really not good in that area and a 5 being they're a rock star. And ideally we'd like them to be a 5 in all 3 areas. And if they're not, then that gives us some guidance in how we can begin to address some of the shortcomings or areas that we're concerned about. In future videos we'll talk more about how do we address some of the areas. But for today, let's begin to look at those 3 areas, look at our employees, and do we have competent, knowledgeable, skilled employees? Do we have employees that are committed, that are engaged, have ownership and buy-in? And do we have employees that have high and strong character, their morals and their values match the organization well? Thanks and have a great day.